Malignant is a brand new horror movie directed by James Wan that is out in theaters right now, and it's also streaming on HBO Max. Film stars Annabelle Wallis. It's also based on a story written by James Wan himself, and the story follows a woman played by Annabelle Wallis whose name is Madison. Madison is encountering a lot of terrifying visions and dreams of grisly murders, and the longer the time goes on, she starts to realize that these murders that she's experiencing in her dreams are actually a part of reality. As you can imagine, that would make anybody a little bit, scared and uncomfortable, and, some wild shit starts happening. And that's really all I want to say about the story. That's pretty much how you could sum up the whole story of this movie. Wild shit starts happening. That's basically what this script is. My God, James Wan, you madman, you absolute madman, you genius, you mastermind of devious intent. James Wan lost his mind with this movie, and I think I'm saying that as a good thing. Like, he lost his mind in like the best way possible. Like, you start off this movie and then like in the first act you're kind of like, oh, okay, I sort of see what he's going for here. I sort of see where it's going. Yeah, it's well shot at least. You get into the second act and it's kind of like, oh, okay, wait a minute, I didn't expect that. This is getting interesting. And by the third act, you're just kind of like, wait, what's going, wow, you decided to go that way. It's one of the most crazy and bonkers and ambitious horror movie that I think I've seen in a really long time. And it is a testament to James Wan. He somehow is able to tie it all together and make it work, because there's gonna be several moments throughout the runtime for this movie where you're just looking at the screen and you're like, what the fuck is happening? This features some of the best camera work that I've seen of any movie this year, a horror movie or otherwise. There are some incredible overhead and over-the-shoulder shots, some great rotating angle shots, some amazing wides. I mean, James Wan was in his bag when it came to the camera work on this movie. When it comes to the cinematography, it's a gorgeous looking film. Another thing that really adds to the suspense of this movie is the musical score. It's very intense and exciting and haunting, and it comes in at like the perfect moment when you need a scene to start popping with that psychotic energy. The performances across the board are actually pretty good. Annabelle Wallis, the main character in the movie, so a lot of the events in the film are seen through her eyes. She does a great job at capturing some of the terror that one would feel from going through the situations that she goes through in this movie. This movie actually is one of the more gory and violent movies that James Wan has ever created. This movie, like I said, it just kind of goes for it at a certain point, and it just throws caution to the wind. It swings for the fences. You think the movie's going a certain way, and then it kind of goes off the rails, literally. And it kind of has that campy horror movie vibe of some of the Wes Craven movies that you've seen in the past. One of those movies where James Wan was just kind of like, I'm a horror movie master and I can do whatever the fuck I want, and you can't stop me from doing it. I do feel like there are some issues that'll pop up with the script for this movie. I feel like there's some moments of dialogue that didn't really land with me, especially when it came from the characters that this movie's trying to portray. I do feel like a lot of the supporting characters you could do without them. The character work is kind of bare minimum at times, and it works for the movie, but I'm just saying, in the process of this movie going for it and like really going all out and going for crazy, bonkers, off the wall type of shit, it sometimes reaches beyond what it can reach, and sometimes you're gonna be sitting there, you're gonna be like, wait, some of this doesn't make that much sense. It's one of those movies where wild shit starts happening and you're kind of like, I don't know that this makes that much sense, but the movie is basically saying, hey, shut up and enjoy the ride. It doesn't have to make that much sense. But because it's one of those type of movies where you could see some gaps and some holes in the storytelling, I could see some people going into the third act, and the third act is gonna make or break it for them. They're either gonna really be on board with what James Wan is going for, or the movie's gonna lose them completely. Me personally, it lost me sometimes, but I still enjoyed the ride. I still enjoyed what this movie had to offer, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this movie. This might become one of those like cult classics that most people are not gonna see, not gonna talk about, but then years later, people are gonna be like, oh shit, that was a really underrated horror movie. Malignant was actually a pretty dope horror movie. Not as scary as you think, but still a good time. I'm gonna leave this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. Those are my thoughts on Malignant. Tell me, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Give me your thoughts on the film in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.